Here it is, this Ciana Crossbody by Simply Classic. This is the medium. The pattern comes with 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. This is the medium. So there's the bottom, there's the side, there's the back. And it has a unique, you don't have to use a thumb lock. You can use whatever closure type you'd like. But you open that up, and then it does have 2 magnetic snaps here to keep it closed. And you have a zipper pocket, and on the other side you have a slip pocket. And look how big it is. This is plenty room for everything. I am loving these unique crossbodies because they're plenty big for what I carry every day. Oh my gosh, I love it. And these thumb locks are adorable. They're simply adorable. So the Ciana Crossbody, go get the pattern. Let's get started. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. Thanks for joining me today. I'm getting ready to do the Ciana Crossbody bag by Simply Classic. It comes in 3 sizes, the small, medium, and large. I'm doing the medium today. Before this segment, you'll see the finished bag. But this is what we're making it out of. It's gonna be so cute. So this is some faux suede, and I already have the interfacing on. So there's 2 pieces of that. And then this is what I'm using for the lining. This is water resistant canvas from your vinyl source. So I'll go over each piece as I make the bag. And then I'm using antique brass hardware, which I did get all the pieces from Chris at Simply Classic. Very cool. This uses, and I don't know if you can see it in this, you'll be able to see it in the previous segment, but it uses a thumb lock, which is really cool. So I'm pretty excited. The medium is 8.5 by 9 by 3.5. Very cute. Let's get started. So I'm gonna do a bit of prep work. I have my strap I'm gonna do first, and then I have my key fob. Actually, this is the key fob and my D-ring connectors. So I'm going to do those first. And I'll do those on fuss forward. This is just, the D-rings are 2 together. And once I get them done, I'll cut them in half. And then the key fob is just a 1.5-inch piece. And we'll trim it off once we get it sewn, so it ends up being a 1/2-inch key fob. Oops, I'm doing that wrong. The key fob, you fold raw, it has a raw edge. I forgot that, so hold please. And then we trim it to a 1/2 inch, sorry. Oh, here comes my heavy breather doggy. She sits outside my door. All right, let's do these 2. There we go, couldn't get it. All right, now let's trim this up. I'll just go ahead and finish the key fob. So we'll trim this to a 1/2 inch. Perfect. And then I'll add my swivel clasp and we'll put a rivet in. So just like that. Let me I don't have any rivets here. Let me go find some rivets. Please. All right, so there you have your key fob. The thing you want to be sure of whenever you're putting rivets in, don't put a hole over your thread. So on this one, I put my hole slightly to the side of my stitching, and it looks fine. So there is the key fob. Cute. Let's do our D-rings. Cut those in 2 equal pieces. Add our D-rings. And then I'm just going to secure them on the bottom so they don't move around. All right, so there you have your 2 D-rings. Put that in there. And then the other little prep piece is to do your I'm doing option 1 for the closure. So that I need a tiny little piece that I am going to trace on here just outside of it. And then I'll trim it. So it's this little option. It's like a thumb to pull up the thumb lock. It's kind of nice. I am going to use some air erasing. So I'm going to trace that just outside. Actually, let me put some tape in here first. Otherwise, it's going to move on me and then I won't like it. It's a small little piece, so we're going to have to take our time with this. So these 2 pieces are just wrong sides together and they're way too big, but it's going to help me trace around this and sew around it. Okay, I just went about a 1/16 inch outside of my piece. I'm going to put my piece over here because it's so tiny. I'll lose it. All right, let's just sew around that and see how we do. Just inside that. And I'm going to be decreasing my stitch length to about a 3. I'm just going really slow, 1 stitch at a time. I'll show you what I did. I would definitely use an air erasing pen. That way you know it's going to go away. Okay. So, I don't know what you can see, but there it is. I traced about 1/8 of an inch inside my mark. So now when I go to trim it, I can trim off my marking. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to look symmetrical. That's all it is right there. Now, I did crowning here, so you can see, so I'm just gonna fix that. And crowning is your scissors were at an angle instead of straight up and down. That's it. It's the tiniest little thing, but I think it'll make a big difference in being able to pull that thumb lock up. Now, you could edge paint that. I'll have to think about whether I want to do that, but that's all that is. Tiny little guy. All right, next step. So the next step is I'm doing my crossbody strap. And I'll do this on fast forward, like any other crossbody strap. Divide it down the middle. Leave about 1/8 of an inch in the middle so it folds over on itself nicely. So the next step is to do, so I finished my crossbody strap. It's gorgeous. And I put rivets on there. It just looks, the antique brass. I sell this on my website now. It is so nice. It's probably my second favorite, honestly. All right, now we're gonna do our little flap. We already did the tiny little flap. And you need your template piece and you need your 2 pieces. I just put double-sided tape just so this would stay really good together until I get it sewn and trimmed. There is a piece of stabilizer in there and we're going to match our bottom. Don't get too worried about matching the sides because this gets trimmed pretty good. Okay, now we're going to lay our piece on top. And I'm going to use an air erasing pen. You are going to cut this off, so don't get, again, too worried about it. I'm going to mark my little holes, and then I'm going to trace around it. And these end up being your cutting lines. So we're gonna sew inside these lines. I know, I like it. All right, so that's what it is. So let's sew. I'm gonna decrease my stitch length to about a 4. Actually, I think I'll do a 3. Do this. I am gonna start up here, and I'm just gonna sew right inside that line. Perfect. Okay. Now we will trim that, and I will probably edge paint. You can use your rotary mat for this. I'm just going to cut it with my big old scissors here, right inside that line. And I'm just going to trim that off. So there's a reason this piece is so big, because you want to get your trim nice and even, perfect. So you can throw that away. So now I will probably do just an extra. I did a tiny bit of crowning there. Not really bad. Let me see on the other side. I think I'm going to go edge paint these, and I will be back. I'm going to edge paint this piece and this little guy. So I'll be back. Okay, while my edge paint is drying, I did my D-rings wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. So mark up on one side what she tells you to in the pattern. And we're going to fold both of those raw edges on the inside. You don't want those like I have it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to be, you know, really proactive. Then put your D-ring on, and we're going to fold those down to that line. So that's what you end up having on that side. Then I'm going to add another little piece so that when I get ready to put it on, it'll be ready to put on my bag. So just like that. So repeat that on this side. I'm already losing my mark. It's okay. I used an air erasing pen, and boy, it air erases. It's good. That's what you want. All right, now take your outside pieces, your exterior pieces, and with your pattern piece, hold that on. So here's both of our pieces. We're going to put this on the same side. And I'll tell you that why in a second here. So get those lined up. Take your paper off your double-sided tape and lay it right there. And then take your pattern piece off. gently. Okay, so there's one, and we're going to do it on the same side. I know it feels weird, but I'll show you why. Because they'll end up being opposite when we put the bag together. Okay, and lift that up, take that off. So now when we have the bag together, they're on opposite sides. One's on this side and one's on this side. Right. Now we're going to sew a box on that, and then we are going to put a rivet. I know, it's a box. It's very scary for me, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to start right where my other stitching is. I'm just going to go as slow as I need to. And I'm going to follow my same as much as I can. It's not that big of a deal. And then come across. And then I'm going to go back down. And then over. Okay. It's not a great box, but it's okay. In fact, I'm going to come across this way. I don't like how that looked. So. Better. Better, better. Okay. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Oops, I just dropped that on the floor. So I'm going to start as close as I can with my needle. Down. Perfect. And then I'm going to go backwards. And then I'll go forwards. And the reason I do that is to keep it out of my hardware. And then come across. And then back up. Perfect. All right, now let's burn those threads just in case there's any little hairs. And then we'll put a rivet on both of those. Right in the middle. All right, I'll do that off camera. So the next step is, so we have those on there, and when the bag's together, they'll be on opposite sides. So now we're going to stitch the bottom together and sew that with the seam allowance in the pattern. And I have heavy Decaville light here, and I have light there. Just so you know. And then we'll turn and top stitch that. Oh, please. So the next thing we're going to do is top stitch, and to keep this flat I just put a couple pieces of double-sided tape. You probably don't need to do that, but because I have Decaville Heavy there and I kind of didn't cut my Decaville Heavy the right size, mine's got a little hangover, so for me I decided to just on that one side put a piece of double-sided tape, and then we'll top stitch down each side. So I top stitched, and the next step is to fold your D-rings down, and then we're going to stitch along the sides. So put your sides together. And note the seam allowance. The side seam allowance is different. So just be sure to check that. On both sides. I got my clips upside down. And then she suggests putting a piece, some double-sided tape down each side to keep those seams nice and open and flat. And I think that's an excellent idea. So I'm going to do it on all 4 of those edges. This is not a bad idea. I mean, you don't need to do it if you don't want to. You're not going to go over this stitching except on the top and the very bottom with your needle. So if your needle and machine is very sensitive to double-sided tape, then I probably wouldn't do it. Mine is not ultra sensitive. And if it is, just clean it. I clean my needle all the time. All right, now I'm going to fold that flat. Let me get in here. This double-sided tape works really good with this fabric. It doesn't work with every fabric. Just, you know, it just depends on the vinyl. Okay, and now let's repeat that over here. All right, now we are going to sew our bottoms, box our bottoms. And I'm going to get some wonder clips for this. So just match your seams. going to sew the seam allowance in the pattern. This is a little different seam allowance, so just be prepared for that. Same on this side. I love the size of this bag. Right next step. So I did another row of stitches right on the bottom next to my previous stitching on both sides, and then I trimmed it to about half the seam allowance. So now we're going to turn this right side out and see what it looks like. It's exciting. This is the medium. I like the size. So I'll probably steam that once I'm all done. But there you go. Isn't that cute? Now I think, we'll see what she says, but in the pattern, I think I'm gonna put my tag on. But so the next step is to take your two lining pieces and mark the center on the top and the bottom. So this is actually the top where you have the little small cutout as opposed to the bottom that has the large cutout. So we're going to measure down what she tells you to in the pattern from the center, and we're going to attach our zipper overlay. And I just put double-sided tape on the back. It's a small zipper. Oops, took off the wrong paper. Perfect. And now, just like any other zipper, we're going to stitch around the outside. And you can make this shape anything you want, really. I'm going to pull those threads to the back. Oh, here is my, oops, let me put my needle down. My tag. Isn't that going to be cute? Oh, it's adorable. It might be my new bag. Yeah. No. No, it's skipped. I'm not having it. I won't have it. So I'll fix that. Yeah, it skipped the stitch. I'll just back stitch that. Nope, did it again. Stop it. There we go. let's pull those to the back. And I'll show you what happened over here. It's going to happen from time to time, and it's okay. This, if it was an outside pocket, I'd probably be a little more worried, but this is an inside. And I don't think you're going to be able to tell, but we'll look. No, you can't tell at all, hardly. Perfect. All right, so there you go. Now let's cut that out. As always, be very careful not to cut your overlay. All right, let's add some more zipper or double side tape. I'm just going to use 1/8 inch here. And I'll get my zippers ready. So now we're going to do our little zipper pocket. And I'm just putting some tape on there, and I have my zipper. I'm going to lay that nice and even. And baste that in place. Then we're going to turn that over and stitch that flat, just like I always do. And repeat that on this other zipper pocket piece. Right side of your pocket up and the right side of your zipper up, and we're just going to lay that with your sides of your zipper pocket nice and even across the top. And I do go ahead and put my zipper pull on. You can leave it off if you want. That would work too. And then we're going to do the same thing. Baste that zipper nice and flat. All right, now we're going to put that inside. And my zipper is closing to the left. I was just trying to find out that. I've got tape on the inside here. And I'm going to add that one side at a time. Nice and even. Perfect. And now I'm going to stitch around and I'll pull those threads to the back. And just come up a little bit so your corners are nice and straight and you don't skip a stitch. And then start and stop, or stop where you ended. And let's pull those stitches to the back. And tie them off. Again, I'm just going to cut these so they're the same length. I've really started doing that because otherwise I sometimes have a hard time getting them to tie nice and evenly. Just something I do. And I leave them at least 4 inches. 4 to 5 inches. It really helps. All right, cute. Now turn it over and we're gonna pull our, I'm gonna trim off my extra zipper tape and burn those ends. Okay, and then we're going to pull the top down, and you'll have extra here, and that's okay. We are going to leave the bottom open to finish the bottom of the bag. So trim off your excess down here. About an inch or so. And then we're going to turn it right side up and fold our front out of the way, and we're going to stitch that closed. And then I am going to fold that up just about 3/8 of an inch. So I can turn it nicely. I'll show you. I'm going to repeat that on this other side. So I turned that up 3/8. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So now you just pull these out so that when you go to finish the bottom of this pocket, it's nice and flat. This Vinyl Source water resistant canvas finger presses really good. So there, that's really, really helpful, I think, anyway. All right, next step. So there you have your zipper pocket with the bottom left open. Now we're going to do our slip pocket. So take your slip pocket and fold your short ends together, right sides together, and we're going to stitch down the sides. See what I'm saying? On both sides. Turn that right side out, and you can clip it. I'll show you. I clip mine, but Chris does a really cool way. So here's the side seam. You fold that in, and then, I don't know, let's see how this works. So you fold that over, and then you push it out. Let's see which one looks better. I don't do it as well as she does, but we'll see. So this is the one I clipped over here. That looks pretty good. And here's the one she suggests you fold. Not bad. Either way works beautifully. I like it. Now I'm going to turn around and iron that real quick. So I'm going to stitch across the top, just a real 1/8 inch basting stitch, just to keep it nice and flat. You probably don't have to do that. I like to. And then we're going to take our accent piece, which is just an 1 inch piece. I marked a middle, put double-sided tape on each side. And then we're going to add our piece just shy of that middle line. Take the top off and fold that over. And then we'll top stitch. And cut off any excess on each side. Just don't cut your pocket. And then if you have any threads, burn those. And there you have your cute little pocket. So cute. Next step. So I did my pocket and I put a beautiful thing tag on there. So it's, you can see the stitching there, but nobody's gonna ever see it really. And then I just barely marked where my center is, and on the other lining piece, measure down what she tells you to in the pattern and place your pocket. Now I am using my Sew Tight magnet, so I have my magnet underneath there to keep them in place while I'm stitching it on. I love those magnets. And then just stitch on the 3 sides. Beautiful thing. Okay, these Sew Tight magnets are from sewtight.com. It comes in a pack of 5, worth every penny. I don't even remember how much they were. They weren't very expensive. So then you have a nice little pocket. It's a small pocket, so this one I am not gonna divide in any way. Next step. So the next step is to take your upper lining piece that looks like this with Deckerville light on it and put the straight edge on your lining pieces. We're going to sew the seamless in the pattern, but remember this little area on the top is going to disappear once we get this on. And then we will turn and top stitch. With this seam going behind the lining. And just top stitch just between this piece and your lining. This is a great pattern, and it really comes together pretty quickly. I might need to check my bobbin. All right, so that's what you should have. Now, I did go ahead and put the spots for my magnetic snaps on both of these pieces. So you'll want to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side. Yep, I ran out of bobbin. No, I didn't. It just was acting up. Okay. Try that again. Perfect. Next step. So the next step is to put your magnetic snaps on. I already marked where they're going to go and I already cut my holes. I am putting this is only Deckerville light, so I am putting one additional piece of Deckerville on there. These snaps will get a lot of use, so probably not necessary. And then I am putting both females on one side and both males on the other side. I'll show you that in a second. If you mess up, it's not that critical, but it's better if you do the same on both sides. So on this side, I have both male snaps. And I'm going to repeat that over here. Then I am going to cover those with a piece of lace. Just to protect the lining. You could use duct tape, you could use a piece of double-sided tape, whatever you have that's going to protect your lining from the prongs, from rubbing over time. You don't have to do this. I just would highly suggest it. Perfect. Now I'm going to snap those just to see how they did. Oh my gosh, perfect. Perfect. That's what it looks like. Next step. All right, so we are going to sew the sides together. So I have my magnetic snap snapped, and I have my right sides together. I did go ahead and put my key fob in there. That's what's hanging out here. Even though it's still just a tad wet, it'll be good. These seam allowances, you start at 1 seam allowance. Whoops, darn it. And you end at another. Gradually increasing your seam allowance. That'll give you a nice tight fit. On both sides. And then we can trim off our extra key fob. And let's do this other side, and then we'll talk about the other. So I'm starting on the bottom, so I'm going to start with the bigger seam allowance. And gradually go to the other one on the top. Now I am going to try, you're going to leave the bottom open. That's how we're going to turn and insert the bag. I am going to try, let me see. And press these seams rather than use any double-sided tape. This water-resistant canvas does press fit it pretty good, so I'm going to go give it a little iron press. All right, now we're going to take our bag, and this is the front of my bag. So I want the front of my bag to have the slip pocket. So I'm going to make sure that when I put those together, that those sides are together. But you do you, it doesn't really matter which is which. And, you know, we made the inside seam allowance a lot bigger, actually, than the outside, so it's going to be tight, and that's okay. So I'm just making sure I did this right. Let me see. Yep, okay. All right. So pull that up so it's nice and towards the top. There we go. And now we're going to match these side seams, and then we're going to clip all the way around. I'll do the side seams first. Here's a little thread here. Get that off. You want to make sure too that your D-rings are down so you don't have any chance of sewing over those. Why do I say? Yeah. And she suggests to sew this from the inside. I may go and get Thor open. We'll see. I mean, not open, but you know, threaded and ready. But I'm gonna clip it. Your seam allowance here is different, so pay attention to that. One of those skinny clips found its way in there. All right, let's do this other side. So I know most people don't pay attention to how their wonder clips go on, but because I'm going to sew from the inside, I want my flat edge on the outside. And so that flat edge of my clip I want on the outside against the machine, so I'm not fighting that. Yep. All right, I need one more clip. So yeah, I'm gonna go over to Thor, and we'll finish the bag over on Thor. All right, let's give this a try. And it doesn't really matter where you start. Let's just see how we do. Oh, I'm holding my thread. Let's hold your thread forward. And I'm doing it from the inside, as she suggests. Keep in mind, this is a narrower seam allowance. I did decrease my stitch length to about a 4 here on Thor. And when you're going around the curves, just take your time. And when you get to your turning point here, pivot point, I guess I should say. Perfect. That really wasn't too bad, actually. It's awkward. It's not hard. It's just awkward. just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go over that again. It's sewn, but it's very close. That's okay. Being a little speed demon on my old straight edges here. All right, let's see how we did. That one actually is 100% better. This one is very tight here, so I'm just going to go over that again. Yeah. I'm not sure it would hold if I'm going to do it from the outside so I can see where I need to be. Better. Go. I broke my thread. Uh-oh, she says. That's okay. Let me rethread and then we'll turn this and see what we did. I'll be right back. All right, so the next step is to cut into your corners here, right there on all four corners. Don't cut your threads, just cut your corners. And then on your curves here, cut out some triangles. I'll show you. This will really help get a nice corner, I hope. So just like that. And then we are still going to trim that, but just make sure when you do that, you're not cutting into your seam. They don't have to be really deep. And I'm doing about 4 or 5 per corner. Really only 4 is probably plenty. Reminds me of a little dinosaur head. I had no idea where that came from, but. So what I do to do this, make it easier, I cut at a slant 4 slits. And then I come back the opposite way and cut those. It makes it so much easier. There. Now we are gonna trim that even still. to get rid of some of that additional bulk. It feels like all that was for naught, but it really isn't. I'm making quite the mess over here. And then I am going to trim down here a little bit as well on both of those straight edges. Just make sure you're not cutting into any threads. It's a little challenging. I think it'll make it pretty significant though. Cut a lot of that bulk out. That's the whole purpose of this, is to cut some of that bulk out in the corners and on the curves. I'll show you what it looks like when I get mine all clipped. You really need a good sharp pair of scissors because you don't want to overclip, that's for sure. Okay, so that's what I have on all four sides. Oh, I don't think I clipped this side. Let me see. Yeah. It's really just getting that corner. There we go. All right, let's turn it and see how we did. Because you left the whole bottom open, it should be fairly easy. Let's see. Now I have this faux leather, so it's a little sticky. It sticks to the lining. I think the next one I'll do something, a little fabric that's different. Although this looks really good. Okay, let's poke everything out. See how we did. Wow, I think that looks pretty good. You can always count on Chris at Simply Classic to do some unique things and have some really great instructions in her pattern. She does her own videos too. I would encourage you to go check her video out. All right, let me grab my turning tool here. My little corner turner. I have several of these, one on this cart and one over there. Man, those look really good. Those curves. These curves are very noticeable, so you do want them to look good. Okay. I'm going to push that down in just to see how things look. There's my little key fob. That's a signature thing of hers, is to have a key fob. Chris. I like it. Now we're going to obviously have to top stitch. But let's just see how we did. Now these will eventually be trained to go in, and that's what you will have. It's a pretty decent sized bag. All right, next. All right, so before we go any further, we need to put our thumb lock on. this piece. Let me pull you down so you can see a little more. And these are very unique. So here is the piece that goes on the main. This goes on the flap. The one that has the little press down. Look how gorgeous these are. Let me see if you can see. But this is how they go. So here's the top of the, and they go like that. And they come apart like that. They're just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, Chris. So when this piece goes on, it's going to go on, it looks like it's upside down. But because this goes down in it like that, that's how it goes. Now, you should have marked before with the paper pattern, but you can still do it, and that's what I did. And now I marked for where my prong goes. We have not closed our lining because you don't want to put this through your lining. So we need to get in there and make sure that we're not putting, I haven't top stitched yet. You could do this after you top stitch. It'd be easier not to, but. Okay, and then this piece goes like this. Just like that. I'm going to verify myself. Yeah, because it goes in like that. Cute. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over and get in here and put my washer. And then I will cover it . So, uh-oh, I lost my washer down in there. Would it be easier to put this on sooner? Probably. You just want to make sure it's nice and flat. This does not feel nice and flat to me, so let me get it nice and flat. There we go. Now I am going to hammer that just a little. Perfect. Now I'm going to cover it with a piece of fleece. I got to go. All right, so I have a piece of fleece, and I'm just going to lay that over the top. Oh dear, I better get rid of that because if I don't, I'm gonna cut myself. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Oh my gosh. So cute. Okay. All right, now we can top stitch. So let's bring you up just a hair. I am gonna pull the threads to the back or to the inside. So I think I'm gonna start on one of these sides, as hard as that may feel. It'll be less noticeable. Okay, I'm gonna increase my stitch length a little bit. Hold your threads. Keep your D-rings out of the way if you can't see it. Pivot. And just go slow. one more. All right, now I'm gonna pull those to the back, or to the lining side, and then we'll see how we did. Okay, once again, I'm going to make sure my pieces are pretty even so I can tie these off. And you don't have to do this. You could backstitch. It's on the side, so it's not as noticeable. But I've really gotten in the habit of doing this lately, and I really like the look. It looks much more professional. So I'm doing 3 knots, and then I'll cut that off and burn the thread. Okay, let's see how we did. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You guys, look at that. All right, let me finish this top. So the next step is to reach inside your zipper pocket, and we're gonna close the bottom of the bag. I almost forgot to do that. That would have not been good. So pull the bottom of the bag through your zipper pocket lining, clip it together. And sew the larger seam allowance on this bottom piece. I'm just going to do it all here on my good old Thor. Oops, I didn't get that clip, did I? There we go. Hold your threads. Make sure you're not stitching through your zipper pocket lining. Ask me how I know that. Okay, cut those threads, and then we'll do the box corners. Squish it. Squish everything. Now you can open these seams, or you can just nestle them. I'm going to nestle them. One's going one way and one's going the other way. Perfect for a lining. Okay. And then do your larger seam allowance too. Hold your threads, pull up. I am going to trim these. It's this bottom one, the corners, just by about half. And let's do the other bottom corner, box corner. threads. Talking to myself. Okay, now let's put that back down in there and close our zipper pocket. I think anyway, let's see. Oh my, that looks really good. Nice and snug, perfect. All right, the next step is to close your zipper pocket. So let's close that up, nice and 1/8 of an inch. Hold your threads full. So you see how nice and snug that is when we turn that zipper pocket up 3/8 of an inch and kind of pressed it. It just really is so much easier to do. All right, now let's stuff that down and we'll see how the inside looks. Then all we have to do is put our other part of our press lock on, thumb lock. It's really not a thumb lock, it's pretty skinny, I like it. Okay. Oh my gosh, look how good that looks, you guys. Nice and snug. You have a zipper pocket on that side and a slip pocket on this side. And then you have your little key fob. Oh my. Okay, let me get the turn lock ready. All right, so I sewed my little thumb pull onto my main piece. Just really narrow seam allowance there. And you can see my edge paint. Looks pretty good, actually. Now, I think for this bag, it's fine. So you want the thumb piece to be on the top. So this is the top part. I think my pieces are a little too big. And that's okay, I'm gonna leave it for this one. But you do wanna put some, ooh. Did you see that? I gotta get a Kleenex real quick. Get that off of me. It's getting everywhere. Hold. I don't want glue there. Oh dear. Hold a second. All right, I was gonna use Loctite, but it is everywhere, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna, I just used a little 3-in-1, and I'm putting that on there nice and even. And then I'm gonna get my screws out. And my little screwdriver and screw those in. Nice and straight. I got it kind of twisted. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Now, put it on. Actually, let me clean it up. All right, so I got my lock on, and I went ahead and locked it. And now we just put your magnetic snaps together, and we're gonna pull that over. And I have marked where my rivet holes are gonna go. And let me just clip those, and then I can mark the back. The thing with these rivets, I'll show you, is you want, when you get this on there nice and straight, just look at it from the front, make sure it's nice and straight, hold it in place, mark where your holes are going to be. You want to make sure that your holes are not going to come through any stitching. So they are going to be on this piece. Yeah, it's going to be perfect. You just don't want to decrease the integrity of your stitching. So that's something you really have to pay attention to. Yep, perfect. Okay, so there's my 2 holes. It didn't get into any of my stitching. Here's my rivets. Now you can unlock your lock, your little thumb lock, and put your 2 rivets in. So just like that. And then put the cap on and we'll go press them. And then we're done. This is an adorable bag. I can't wait to make another one. Let me get those rivets out of the way or I'll mess them. I'll throw them all over the floor. All right, guys, here it is. This Ciana Crossbody by Simply Classic. This is the medium size. It is absolutely adorable. Now, you will need to train your sides to stay in. And so right now, let me just show you what I did. Just initially, I have them clipped with big clips. I don't know if you can see that. And it will eventually just stay there. But, you know, just like with anything, you have to make sure you train it to do its thing. These little thumb locks are adorable. Look at those. And look how the size of it. It's got a good base. That's what it looks like from the side. You have your D-ring connector over here on the side. And then again on this side. I did the crossbody strap, but this would be a great bag for a shoulder strap. Look at that. Let me turn it on for you. It's so cute. I would need to lengthen the strap. Now, when you open it, you've got, it still closes, even though you have a thumb lock, it still closes with the 2 magnetic snaps, which is nice. And then when you open it, it opens pretty good. Look at that. You have a zipper pocket on this side and then a slip pocket on the other side. And you have a little key fob. Now, if you don't want the key fob, then don't put it in. I personally think it's nice and helpful, but it's really up to you. Now, see, mine I have already trained to stay in. And then you close your thumb lock. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna make the large next. The Ciana Crossbody is my Simply Classic. Go get the pattern and make it. It's so cute. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everything you guys comment on and share and like. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.